topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, South Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 16 years, we have brought you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have got a great show for the next 25 minutes. This show is so perfect for our demographics. We have an older demographics, and it's amazing. We still get letters all the time saying, hey, we just found your show. Let me tell you, we found the top estate planning attorney, not just here in South Florida, but the entire state of Florida. Let me introduce you to our great expert attorney, Tom Olson of the Florida Senior Planning PA. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Steve, to you and to all of your loyal listeners in South Florida. And yes, I'm attorney Tom Olson. And Steve, I've been a lawyer in Florida for 45 years. I've done thousands and thousands of wills and trusts. And as I like to tell people, there's no substitution for experience. So I've done it all. I've seen it all, Steve. And I'm standing by to help all of your loyal listeners in South Florida. We are a statewide law firm. We can help people from all the way from the Keys to Pensacola.
Hey, Tom, I got to tell you, we got a couple letters last week, which we gave them your phone number and your website. People who just found the show. There's so many people who kind of procrastinate. You know this, Tom, when it comes to estate planning. And I think one of the things that throws people off is that word estate planning. They think you have to own millions and millions of dollars in assets, and that just isn't true.
Steve, I would say this is a time of year where a lot of people have a New Year's resolution. This is the year I'm going to get my estate planning done. I'm going to get my affairs in order. Maybe they're intimidated with meeting with lawyers, but I can tell you, all of our lawyers here, we are very friendly, very easy to deal with. We know how to make things simple, easy, and inexpensive for our clients. So, Steve, I would invite them to call. We do offer a free initial consultation to talk about their estate planning. We can do that in person, over the phone, via Zoom. Steve, we know how to make it very simple. Steve, occasionally we get a new client that'll come to us and say, Tom, we called another law firm. They would not let us talk to a lawyer until we filled out a 20-page questionnaire. No,
Wow.
That's not the way we do business at Florida Senior Planning. You can talk to a lawyer anytime you want to, and no forms to fill out, no questionnaires to fill out. It's really very simple, Steve. We're standing by to take your calls right now to set up their free initial consultation at 407-423-5561, or check us out at floridaseniorplanning.com.
Hey, one of the things we do is we never share your questions with Tom. This is a real true to life live show. Tom has no idea what your questions are. And for those of you who have written us, we have sent you Tom's phone number, his website address. So let's get started, Tom. By the way, Tom, I got to tell you, you've been with us for about, maybe 6, 7, 8 months. I got to tell you, the way you communicate on this show, it's like you've been doing this for 20 years. Now, I know you've been doing your practice for a long time, but this is a little bit different. We're so glad to have you.
If you don't mind me saying, Steve, I have my own radio show, Olson on Law Radio Show. I've
I
been
didn't
doing the
know that.
Olson on Law Radio Show for 40 years. Steve, it
Oh
is the
my,
longest running legal radio show in the country, Olson on Law. And people can listen to it online or get it through the podcast.
beautiful. Hey, tell people how they can find it.
Well, the easiest way is go through our website, but if you're doing podcasts, you can search Olson on Law Radio Show. That's OLSEN on Law Radio Show. But otherwise, through our website, you can find the time. And of course, you can listen live on the radio. But most people these days, they listen to the radio show on their phones or on their computers at home.
Exactly.
Steve, during that 1 hour show, all we do is we take listeners' call in legal questions. So it's all about answering legal questions for people that they call in for the radio show. I've been doing that Olson on Law Radio Show for 40 years, Steve, even longer than you.
Wow. What is it on a certain day of the week at a certain time?
It's on every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Wow. Remember that Saturdays at 11 a.m. We would love to continue promoting that show. Well, let's get started. I've got so many questions from people. First is Calvin and Davey. He said, I just found your show. Can you share your website, which we did with him already? As an attorney, what are your perspectives on the most important thing a person could do when it comes to estate planning?
Yeah. Well, again, they can find out more about us, floridaseniorplanning.com. Most important thing to do is get started. That's number one. Call an attorney, schedule an appointment. We can do that for you at Florida Senior Planning. It's a free initial consultation. And just so the listeners know, everything that we do on a flat fee basis. We talk to the client together. We come up with an action plan. Once we've agreed on the action plan, we will be happy to quote you a flat fee. So as far as picking an attorney, of course, we'd love for you to pick us, but do not choose an attorney to do estate planning for you on an hourly basis. There's only one way to do it, flat fee basis. Now, Steve, here are the 4 basic estate planning documents that we think that everybody should have. And this is part 1. Part 1, it's a will where you dictate what happens to your assets when you or you and your spouse pass away. Number 2, a living will declaration where you ask that you not be kept alive by machines. It's what I call a pull the plug document. A healthcare surrogate. So if you're not able to, you're appointing somebody to decide what doctors, what hospitals, what medications for you, and a financial power of attorney. So if you're not able to, you're appointing somebody to pay your bills and manage your financial affairs. That's part 1 when we do estate planning for people. Part 2 is we help them to avoid probate. People want to avoid probate because it's expensive and it takes a long time. Part 3 that we sometimes do for clients is we help protect their wealth from the costs of a nursing home. A typical nursing home is $15,000 a month. That's a lot of money. Well, after we do your estate planning, after we help you protect your assets from the cost of probate, then we want to make sure that you still got some money left over. Even if you have to go into a nursing home, we can protect all of your assets. So it's really quite simple when you do it with Florida Senior Planning, Steve. Just make the phone call, get started. You're going to find out how easy it is. Steve, often when we're done signing documents with clients, we're walking them to the front door and they'll say something like, oh, that was easy. So that's just a common reaction, folks. It's very quite simple. Do not be intimidated. Here at Florida Senior Planners, we have some great friendly lawyers that are going to make it very easy for you to get this process done.
I want to let people know too, Tom, that though the show covers the targets the South Florida area, you handle the entire Florida area, and you can, I guess you Zoom a lot for people who are out of the city.
We do, and we also have a lawyer that regularly travels to South Florida to handle our South Florida clients. But Steve, yeah, we can do Zoom, but people often get intimidated by that too. So believe me, Steve, I've done so many consults over the telephone that doing a consult over the phone is just as simple, just as clear for the clients. You're going to get it when we talk to you about your estate planning and we talk to you about this action plan. You're going to understand what it is that we're proposing for you, why we're proposing. You're going to weigh being perfectly clear what's going on. When we meet with the client, and I keep talking about doing an action plan for them. When I'm meeting with a client, I immediately give them that action plan. It's a one-page piece of paper. At the top of that page, this action plan, it lists all the documents and things that Florida Senior Planning is going to do for you. At the bottom of the action plan is your homework. And most typical homework on that is to make your bank accounts POD, payable on death to your children, as a tool to avoid probate. There's more on there, but again, we make it very clear for you both at the beginning and what your homework is going to be to get your estate plan in order. A goal, make things simple, easy, inexpensive for your children when you pass away.
Here is Ray in Palm Beach. I am a resident in New York City. I come to South Florida 6 months out of the year. I just found your show. I hope this question hasn't been asked before, but what are some of the key surprise areas that people generally don't know about that will cause a lot of distress if they fail and not plan properly?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say to Ray that as far as death taxes, also known as inheritance taxes, also known as estate taxes, there is no better state to die in than the state of Florida. Here in the state of Florida, every individual can pass up to $15 million free of death taxes. A married couple can pass up to $30 million free of death taxes. I guarantee New York estate taxes are going to be substantially more. So, Ray, you talk about 6 months here, 6 months there. Well, why don't you stay in Florida 6 months in a day and call the state of Florida your residency, save on estate taxes? But what are the things that people most surprised about is this, is that, Steve, often people come to me and say, Tom, I need to have a will because I want to avoid probate. And I got to break the bad news to them that having a will has nothing to do with avoiding probate. A will simply directs what happens to your assets when they go through probate. So we want to help you to avoid probate. We have all the tools we need to help you do that. So did I cover Ray's question? Do you think, Steve, did I cover it all?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to go to Sharon in Boca Raton. What is a living will, and what is it about the living will that most people don't understand?
Okay. Well, I'm going to assume that Sherry may be a little bit confused because people get a living will confused with a living trust. A living will is a document where you ask that you not be kept alive by machines. It's a pull the plug document. A living trust, also known as a revocable living trust. And by the way, when you hear people talking about trusts out there, they're all talking about the same thing, a revocable living trust. It is a tool for avoiding probate. We consider it to be a complex, therefore expensive tool for avoiding probate. Most of our clients are using simple tools to avoid probate. But if you want to use a living trust for avoiding probate, there are some times where it's very appropriate. If you're a young couple and you've got young kids, 8, 10, 12 years old, absolutely, positively, a revocable living trust is the right tool for you because you can't turn your wealth over to a 10-year-old. You have to have a trust so that if both mom and dad pass away, that wealth would stay in trust, help their children to go to college, buy a house, buy a car, and then dictate at what age their minor children would get that money, typically age 25. But if all of your children are adults, but one or more of your children are spendthrifts or alcoholics or have addiction issues, you can't leave your money to children like that outright for your trust because they're going to blow right through it. So in that situation, we use a living trust that states that child's share, if you pass away, will remain in this trust. It will be used to help them keep a roof over their head, pay their electric, pay their cell phone, pay their insurance, provide all the necessities of life, give them a little bit of money for groceries. And that's a great reason to use a revocable living trust. So if you've got adult kids, if you've got children who are spendthrifts or have alcohol or addiction issues, or if you're leaving money to your minor grandchildren, those are all good reasons to use a revocable living trust. Now, if you're a listener out there right now and you're saying, Tom, what should I be using? Should I be using simple tools to avoid probate, or should I be using a trust to avoid probate? Well, schedule a free initial consultation, FloridaSeniorPlanning.com, and we will very quickly help you figure out what is the best tools, what's the best action plan for you for your estate planning.
Here's a great question. This is Robert in Miami Gardens. He said, I'm having a hard time deciding who to give power of attorney to and not hurting feelings. Can you give me help on that?
Steve, I've had many clients ask me that question over the year. My typical response to them is, hey, this is a job. It's not an award. You're trying to choose a child that is most honest, diligent, and will get the job done for you. So what do kids care about? They care about mom and dad's wealth being equally divided between the kids. They're not really overly concerned about who would make healthcare decisions for their children, for the parents, or who would take care of the business for the parents if they were in a car wreck and comatose or they developed Alzheimer's. The parents might live for many years where they're not able to make their own healthcare decisions and not able to manage their own money. So sometimes my clients will say, Tom, I'm going to choose this child because they only live 5 miles from me. My other child's in Michigan or California. And I say, look, it doesn't matter where your child lives. You want to choose the best child for that job, no matter where they live. We can do business by email, fax, overnight mail, you name it. So it doesn't really matter. So let's talk about who you're choosing. You're choosing children to make healthcare decisions for you if you're not able to. You're in a car wreck, you're comatose, or you developed Alzheimer's. Who's going to decide what doctors, what hospitals, what medications, and who's going to manage your bills, pay your bills, manage your money for you if you're not able to. For those, you may have a child who's in the healthcare business, a doctor or a nurse. They would be a great choice for you. Maybe you've got a child who's a CPA or a financial planner or a lawyer. They would be a great choice for you to manage your money. But with that said, Steve, keep in mind that when you're appointing these agents, your children, to make healthcare decisions for you or manage your money for you, you can choose more than one. If you've got 3 kids, you can choose all 3 children to be your healthcare surrogates. All 3 of your children can talk to the doctors and have access to your healthcare records. Same thing for financial powers of attorney. So I'm not saying it's a great idea, but if all your kids are great and they all get along great, well, naming all 3 of them is a good idea. If you tell me, Tom, my kids hate each other, naming all 3, not a good idea. So make a hard choice. We're not talking about who gets your money. We're talking about who's going to take care of business and make healthcare decisions for you if you're not able to.
God, you explained it so well, Tom. This is Terry in Delray Beach. What do you say to a family member who wants to contest a will?
Yeah. So, Steve, I want to go back, explain it so well, because that is part of our job description at Florida Senior Plannings, is to explain things to people in a way that they can understand. And Steve, everybody's been out there before where somebody's trying to explain something to them, whether it's taxes or how to fix your computer, and it's like going right over your head. Like, what are they saying? I don't get it. Well, when you come to Florida Senior Planning, we're going to explain it to you in a way that you can understand it. Now, Steve, tell me what that question was again, please.
Yeah, what do you say to a family member who want to contest a will?
Okay. Steve, I have people call me all the time that want to contest mom or dad's will. And the first thing I say is, do you have a copy of it? And if they say yes, I say, well, send it on over. We're happy to take a look at it. But if I look at that will and I can tell that it was prepared by an attorney, it was witnessed by the attorney's office, it was notarized by the attorney that prepared it, guess what? It's rock solid. If I see that, hey, one of the adult children was living with mom and the adult child prepared that will and the adult child had his or her friends and family witness and notarize that will, well, it is automatically suspect. So if you want to challenge a will, step number one, get a copy of it. Step number two is to show an attorney and get their opinion about it. Again, Steve, if it's drafted by an attorney, it looks good, it probably is good. If it's a homemade dealio, then certainly it's open to be challenged. Steve, and when we talk about challenging wills, there's a term called undue influence. So if there are 3 children, and let's say the oldest child is a daughter, and the daughter's living at home, taking care of mom, and hey, mom passes away, and we find out that mom left everything to the oldest daughter, well, there's automatically suspect there. We want to take a look at it because daughter may have been using undue influence with mom. She's in mom's ear every day saying, Mom, you need to have a will. And by the way, I'm the only one here looking out for you, so you should leave everything to me. Well, that's, a good reason to think about challenging a will.
Tom, we our show's live and we're on YouTube and got a pretty good size audience for YouTube, but you're on our radio and so many other like Spotify and I guess iHeart's our biggest. Tell people how they can reach you.
They can reach us at floridaseniorplanning.com. Check out our website. You can find out more about us. And of course, they can call anytime 407-423-5561. I'm going to give out that phone number again, Steve, but if you're out there listening right now, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and call us right now. We got operators standing by to talk to you to set up your free initial consultation. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. We'll call you at home, and we'll talk to you about all the things that we're talking about here today. Steve, that phone number again, get ready, folks. Get ready to write it down or put it in your phone. It is 407-423-5561.
Well, I got to tell you, we had so many questions in our chat line. You're going to be on with us again tomorrow, Tom, and we will ask these questions. We'll start off the show with these questions from the chat line from Shauna and Antonia. Tom, thank you so much. We're so lucky to have you, and no wonder you sound so good. You've been doing this for a long time.
Thank you, Steve. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow. Attorney Tom Olson. Folks, please stay tuned. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.